Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Let's talk about what makes Morissette Amon's performance of Resignation at the 2018 Asia Song Festival so awesome. Here we go. So first thing we see, especially in a big auditorium like this, where there's so many people, so huge, is we're seeing this white tree, these really white lights all focused on her, right? So this tree in the background, isolation her in the front, it opens up the space, makes it feel really big because the tree is so far away from where she is and they're isolating it. So we see this dark space in between. So it gives this sense of grandeur and bigness. Then we hear this music that also has that same openness and slowness and kind of a vastness to it that kind of gets us in this sentimental mood, this open kind of soft feeling a little bit. When we see white, what do we think of? We think of things like purity. We see trees, we think of things like growth. So what we can learn from this is setting up the intro is probably the biggest moment in the show of where we'll either grab our audience or lose them. Here, this is a stunning view. Beautiful picture here. And of course, it's grabbing our attention. Love it. It's gorgeous. And also, it establishes, gets us a time to process the tree and the beautiful view so that when she starts singing, we can then look at her and focus on her as the center of attention. So all really well planned out just in these first few seconds.
Not that I didn't know how you felt in your heart. I felt it too. Let it go, letting you leave it all behind. It's something I just cannot get used to. You have hurt me so, and I just can't help but fall away from you.
Okay, let's take a moment and talk about what's going on costume-wise here. Why would she choose blue? Well, yeah, it's a pretty color. It's sparkly. It's really kind of hopeful and bright, and it looks really good on her. But why does it look so good? Well, if you look at her hair and her skin tone, it's brown, right? We got brown going on here. One of the most revelatory moments for me was when I was talking with my brother, who is a teacher, and he's also a professional artist, painter. He talked to me about brown and how brown was just a shade of red, and to think of brown as a red. If you think of brown as a red, then all of a sudden blue starts making a lot more sense a little bit, right? Especially this kind of green blue that we're seeing in this coat, this kind of turquoise color, right? So there's a reason why that works, and it's really working well for her. Also, it really pops out her eyes as well. Gorgeous there. Other thing I want to point out her costume is why sequins? Yeah, they're sparkly and shiny. Why do we care about sparkly and shiny? Well, if she was just wearing like a single thing that reflected, say like, I don't know, like mylar for some reason, if she's wearing mylar, right? It wouldn't have the same effect because it would just be reflecting a ton of light at us and it'd draw our attention. Just because these constantly shifting little sparkles means that our eyes can't lock on any part of that costume and stay there. They've got to constantly keep moving, which means it draws our attention to her, but ultimately we end up staying on her face because that's where it's constant and it's lit and where our eyes should focus. And those sparkles just keep our attention on her and keep that variety and kind of interest, visual interest going on in her costume and body. That's one reason why these sequins work so well on performers, because we have these stage lights hitting it, it sparkles, it's all over the place, but not too much, right? Awesome.
Why did you not tell me? Oh, you just could not. Did you ever think of everything I feel? You fell for me and said you loved me, but you just let me fall and never tried to didn't care to me at all.
Why do they use these earpieces, right? Isn't that like cheating or something? No, it's crucial. What's really cool in this video is you can hear all the feedback that she would be hearing. Hear all that echoing that's bouncing around. That would make it so hard to be able to stay focused. It'd be just really distracting. Try it sometime. Try talking, like you can do it on a computer if you're talking with two people and neither of you are wearing headphones, right? Like on Skype or something. You hear that feedback and that bouncing around. It makes it really hard to focus, especially when your singer's trying to stay on beat and there's silence, you're trying to get the emotion of it. Ugh. So these in-ear feedback monitors are really important to them being able to stay in that moment, hear what they sound like, yes, in the moment, but also keep them so that they aren't hearing all this extraneous noise that's going to be really distracting and pull them out of the character. So it's an important part of the artistry for them to have those. Now, there's times to be able to take them out and put them in, again, for a variety of reasons and preferences, but you'll notice here she put one back in. It's because it's this open, empty space, and that echoing is really going to be distracting there, and it lets her really hear what her voice is doing. It's really hard to hear your voice when it's echoing and you're singing this softer placement that is a little more breathy, right? So those earpieces are really important in these kind of big arena settings. What do you do if you don't have access to earpieces like this? Well, get a monitor that's faced and turned towards you as the singer, a sound monitor, so that you at least have that live feedback. If everything's pointed out to the audience, and even if you're just in a small room that's really live, you're gonna find that it's really hard to stay synced together with the rest of your ensemble and with what's going on. So those monitors that are, whether they're in-ear or floor monitors that are pointing to you as the performer, are really important parts of a live performer's toolkit that they need to consider when they go to a venue.
Should I hate you and try to just forget? Should I blame myself and live with this regret?
Notice how her onset on that top is not breathy. It's not pushed either. It's just the sound is starting right as the air is flowing. It's a balanced onset. It's really efficient use of air. She's not pushing at it. She's not straining at it. She's using this whine into it to get it there. And it's really gorgeous and effective for her. And she's also using her breath really wisely when she's using that kind of onset and that kind of configuration of vocal fold closure to breath flow. And it's staying really balanced, lean, and clean. And it sounds really gorgeous when she does that. It also allows her to sing really long phrases when she is singing that way. Now, is that always the case? No, sometimes she's purposely singing breathy, in which case she's gonna run out of air sooner. So you wanna really plan when you're gonna have that aspirate sound and when you're gonna go for that cleaner, more efficient sound. So that if you have a super long phrase, you know that's probably not the best place to use an aspirate sound. And you're probably gonna need to be clean, so use that aspirate sound somewhere else. So, really intelligent use of going back and forth between this breathy sound, this clean sound, balanced onset. She's using glottal onsets at points to really pull out words that start with vowels. And in general, she's just making really smart, deliberate choices throughout this entire start. Awesome.
If I could only do it all again, I would turn back time, back when I was yours and you were still mine.
9, not mourn. Notice how this lip pulls down and I cover there on the second one. This first one, mine. It's this top row of teeth right there, right? Keeps it forward, keeps it bright, keeps it clean, keeps it clear, helps it from getting swallowed and too heavy, especially kind of in that mid or high register up there. So really pay attention here. She's really great at keeping this ass space, this upper tooth smile like all the time. One of the reasons why she has audiences who love her everywhere she goes is we get this really clean, crystal clear, bright, easy to listen to sound. Try it. Sing in the mirror, pay attention to what you're doing with your mouth, see if you're trying to cover those teeth with that lip or if you're keeping them out there, and what it feels like to try to keep that all the time with that smile out there, right? You don't necessarily want to go like this and grip both teeth, otherwise it's going to get really spread and tight and uncomfortable. It's just this top teeth and this really relaxed bottom jaw and upper tooth smile and the back. You'll notice that's what she's doing here the whole time and letting her tongue and lips shape the vowels and not by changing the place back here, and not by necessarily covering the teeth.
Did you ever think of everything I feel? You've cared for me, and you love me, but you just let me fall and never try to catch me at all.
Not catch me at all, catch me at all, right? All. If you also watch her as she sings the E vowel, also really excellent. You'll notice she still keeps this ass, still keeps the teeth there in the front, and that tongue just comes forward and high in the front to get that E sound. Try it. Ah-ee, ah-ee. Try to change nothing but just that tongue. And notice by just changing that tongue position, we're changing the vowel. You don't have to alter back here. You don't have to alter the jaw. Now, does that mean you shouldn't alter the jaw? No. Actually, there are different jaw positions that are more optimal for different vowels. But the important part here is to learn that tongue is crucial to how we make those vowels, and that how we position that tongue needs to be slightly different when we sing than a lot of times how we speak, especially if you're talking kind of West Coast Hollywood type of speech. Really, that it likes to fall back there, right? And we like to collapse it, and we don't keep that ah in the back. So we really have to keep that tongue further forward and higher in the front, so that we aren't shutting down that resonant space and back. And she does a gorgeous job of that there. That's why we still hear a clean, clear E, but it still sounds open, still sounds consistent, still sounds resonant, still sounds like the rest of her voice. We don't have some big change or tension or tightness. It's because she's still singing this ass shape in the back here in the oral pharynx, keeps that tongue forward and high, so we still hear the pure E sound. Mine O. Did you see that? It's an O, but it's O, not O. Check it out. Try it. Try the difference. See what it does. Other thing that I want to point out here is she's not running around this whole stage here, right? She's really trusting her body to carry the expression, to carry the story. And it works. Why does it work? Well, because our body works expressively kind of from the top of our body down. So in natural life, the stronger we feel an emotion, the further down our body it goes. So here with her, you'll notice she's really using these primary communicators first. And because the song doesn't really call for a lot of emotion, it's kind of an internal expressive song of reflection. It doesn't require her to move a lot. So the way we can think about this is, if we don't need to move a lot, then it just means that it takes more emotion to have lower and lower parts of our body be expressive and move. She's moving a ton here. It's really expressive. She's really using those to their max, and it's awesome. It's really expressive. It's engaging. It's enough, right? Why? Because she's being expressive in the order that it should be. She's starting with her eyes and face. She's looking all over the place, engaging in this world, but it just doesn't have to make it to its feet because it's internal. Love it. She's matching her body language, getting the most out of it without pulling away from the music and doing something other than the music is calling for. Awesome.
I won't ask anymore if you want to walk out that door. Just leave it all like that. No, I won't shed any tear and keep on hoping that you're still here. I'll watch as you walk away from me, and it's getting hard to see.
Okay, other thing I want to point out here is she's not doing any half-baked gestures. What I mean by a half-baked gesture are those things that high school students kind of do. No, where the hand just kind of comes up a little bit, right? half gesture. They don't really commit and gesture the entire way. She's in a huge arena. She's got to gesture huge so that the people in the back can still read it. It reads authentic because she's going through the cycle of gestures. She's expressing in a natural way, but she's going big. She's communicating big. Really important. The key is if you're going to risk one way or the other, risk going too big, too out there, and then having to pull it back rather than half-baked and kind of putting it out there. It's always better to risk big than too small. Here, she's going huge. She's using it. She's selling it. It's awesome. We buy it because she's being authentic and genuine with what's going on in her face. And these gestures aren't frozen. They aren't like totally rigid. They're starting in her eyes and in her face and then organically coming out of that. Love it.
We were never meant to be. Thank you so much, mabuhay!
Awesome. Really engaging performer. Love that voice. You'll notice, one of the things that I notice here is she had to be really judicious about when she used that growl and grit, right? You'll notice right after she used it, it took a little bit more work for her to get that breath in and get the next sound out. Those are going to cost vocal capital, and she's actually doing it really quite loud there. And so that's going to cost her quite a bit. The amazing thing here is that she was able to then jump straight back in to that healthy, balanced, open ass space place and get right back on the train of not overtaxing her voice. So she's just judiciously choosing moments to put that in there for expressive purposes, and she knows her voice well enough to know where she can do it without ruining anything else. And so that's awesome, is that she is using those to color things, but then coming back to her healthy home base. That's something that is really important for a performer to learn, is that if they are wanting to add some grit, growl, scream, that they need to A, try to do it in a way that's as healthy as possible, B, try to reduce the volume as much as you can if you can, but being judicious and then making sure that you know right back where that healthy home base is, where you're singing at your most efficient and comfortable, so you can come back to there, and so you don't stay in that growly place that's going to cost you a lot of vocal capital. Again, you want to be careful about when and where you use that, and she's really judicious here and really smart about it. Love the costume, love the lighting, even though it's so simple in terms of its visual presentation. It's really effective, really smart, really well planned out. The music matches the words, matches what we're seeing, and it's awesome. If you want a voice lesson or performance coaching or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier, perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartsstudio.com. I look forward to working with you online.